Hey, welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm going to go over some random repairs of my new RV. And this is just to show you or share the realities of RV ownership. And I don't think it really matters what brand of RV it is. You know, obviously some brands are better than others, but it shows you the realities of owning an RV. Once you've owned one for long enough, things are eventually going to break. And some of these repairs I'll show you I could probably have lived with, but it does bother me. So I'm going to show you some step-by-step repairs that I've done. And hopefully this also shows that these manufacturers have major improvements to do. And they're pretty simple improvements that they could make to give the end user a much better ownership experience. So let's go ahead and start out in the bathroom. Well, here's the very first item I'm going to repair. If you look at the corner of my door started peeling actually within the first week. It has gradually gotten worse and worse. I think this is a typical manufacturer problem. I know Dynamax does not actually make this door. They buy it from another vendor. You know, these are pretty inexpensive doors, but this has been a common problem for many years. They'll blame it on that there's too much moisture in the bathroom, etc., etc. But reality-wise is this happened on the very first week of ownership and on both sides, not just the inside. So a common repair kit, you can buy these on Amazon pretty cheaply, but it comes with a multi-stain kit. And we're just going to, it's basically putting it on like a marker. You just match up the stain that you want to use and put it on here. You know, really simple DIY for anyone to do. Really simple repair job that you can do. You may have to do it several times, but it sure looks better than just leaving that raw finished edge. I think if the manufacturer wants to prevent this from happening again, they should take these doors, just a paint grade door, and paint them in-house. You know, they paint a bunch of other things, or get a stain grade door and do their own staining. Obviously, the cheapest method is to buy a pre-finished door like this, but all they're doing is passing on the problem to somebody else, because these manufacturers keep making these cheap doors and they will eventually peel on you. Alright, here I have it complete, but basically I ran that stain stick all the way down the edge, whether it needed it or not, all the way down, because it is a slightly different color, but you can see it in the shadow lines. It's a little bit different. So I decided to run it all along the edge, and maybe it will protect it a little bit more, who knows. But a cheap way to just fix the stain. Now this stain stick does also come with these more like this crayon type, so if you have it on your wooden cabinets and there's a chunk missing, you can actually fill it in. So it's basically a waxy product that fills it in. But you can use it, besides on here, you can use it for all the cabinets too. So let's jump on to the next project. Alright, my next project is in the shower. If you look in the shower here, I have this tiny little spot here. It's basically a scrape off this fiberglass shower pan. This happened on my very first trip. The shower handle here fell off and landed right here and chipped the corner of this. Yeah, there's literally hundreds of brands, but this is the one I'm using. None of them really get great reviews, but it all depends on the application. Now, I did clean this with alcohol, really good. It just looks like a fingernail polish, basically. Comes with a small applicator like this, but really simple DIY. And because I have a decent nick on here, what I will do is I'll put on a couple of coats on here. I'll let this first coat dry and come back maybe an hour later and put another coat on. But, you know, to the naked eye, it blends in pretty good. Pretty much almost impossible to see. But you don't have to live with it. You can put these little repair kits. Now, we do have to put some responsibility on, you know, who caused this. And I would have to say this handle falling off, that would probably fall on Dynamax. When they put on this shower handle, they probably had to disassemble this, and they just did not have that set screw on there tight enough. So, unfortunately, Dynamax gets the blame on this. Whether it comes from the shower handle manufacturer, if they didn't put this handle on tight enough, the final check and balance is the person that is assembling it. So, it should have been tightened by Dynamax. So let's jump on to the next item where we can place some responsibility. Here's another item I had a two-part problem with. These tray tables here. On these tray tables, within the first week, I had these little cup holders that the tray tables go into. These actually started falling off. The table started out crooked really quick, and then it leaned so bad. And what I discovered was that one, these tray tables, not a big fan of them. If you have thicker legs, it definitely will not be comfortable to sit in this with this. I think originally they had those Lagoon tables, which I think some people complained about those as well, but these are definitely not the answer. So we don't use these anymore. But what I discovered, or what broke, let me take this out here, was once it started leaning, what I discovered was inside this cup holder, the whole thing was loose. And on the bottom of the cup holder, there's this little rubber disc, really hard to pry out. I used a scissor, the pointy of a scissor. You could use a knife as well, and you just need to pry this out enough where you can pull it out of here. And inside, there was only one screw in there. And what I did was, you can see the holes already. I installed three additional screws, so a total of 4 screws instead of just 1. And the second issue I had was even this trim ring here. This ended up falling off. And looking at the bottom, what I discovered was that these little plastic retainers where the screws come up, you can see these little screws here. This one is intact, but these other 2 are broken, so it looks like they never lined up in the first place. So whoever installed this cup holder, I'm sure it was the furniture manufacturer, unless if Dynamax did something after the fact and only put in 1 screw, which is really weird because it looks like there's a place for 4 screws, so I don't know why there was only 1 screw in there, but that was the same for both of these. And like I mentioned, I put in the 4 screws, so I'll pull these out and fix this as well. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do because I don't think I can use longer screws than these without it coming up through the face. I may have to purchase an actual new piece here. So that's it. If you want to fix this, pull this bottom cover off and put in additional screws compared to that single screw. Alright, we're moving on to the next item. Here we are in the bedroom. I have the mattress folded up, but the slide out, you'll see this carpet here. This carpet started falling off. This responsibility definitely falls on Dynamax. We're going to fix that, but what I noticed here also is that the fiberglass bottom of this, on the aluminum framing, it's starting to delaminate here. I would say it's not starting to delaminate. I think what happened was that it was never glued in properly in the first place. So we're going to go ahead and put some glue in here. I'm going to use contact cement, but I'll show you how I do that. So these are 2 repairs. I think both of these definitely fall on Dynamax's end here, but let's go ahead and get this fixed. Alright, we're going to take care of that delamination problem. And what I have here is basically a syringe. It doesn't have the typical shot tip. This is more for putting some kind of liquids in. And I have it pre-filled with contact cement. This is plain old contact cement from the big box store. Now if it was outdoor area that I need to relaminate, I probably wouldn't use this. But this is just indoors, so we're going to go ahead. I don't know how well this will capture on camera, but this isn't structural or anything, but it does bother me. So I'm going to pry it open just a little bit. And I'm just going to inject. Let me see if I can get this. There we go. I'm going to just go ahead and inject this in here, because this is just like a sticker. Anytime there is an area that, I'll call it, has a problem, that the edge starts peeling, the rest of it can peel really quick. So I want to take care of this problem before it actually gets bad. I think if I if I fix this now, I shouldn't have any issues in the future. So I'm just putting it back there. After I'm all done, I'm going to clamp it all shut. There we go. Just spreading it around here. These are all disposable needles, so if you're familiar with contact cement, you're supposed to put contact cement on both ends, let it flash, and then connect the two pieces, but we're not going to do that here. Let's go ahead and get this cleaned up. And the last thing to do would be put these clamps on. Alright, here we have 4 clamps on here. So after this dries, we'll see you tomorrow and I will go ahead and glue this back on. Alright, we're back here a couple of days later and we're going to release these clamps. And that's the thing you want. We always want to make sure the glue has plenty of time to cure. Alright, I ended up using this 3M spray glue. You have to follow the instructions, but I put some glue on here and I'm going to let it tack up a little bit. Don't want to put that on the wet surface right away. You actually want to let it tack up just a little bit. Again, follow the instructions, and then we will set this carpet back on there. Right, there we go. Got that piece glued back on there. I do have a little glue overspray, but really simple project. This stuff is great for adhering to any type of fabric, so that worked out really well. Another item that I think the quality control of the manufacturer should have had, that didn't happen through the course of time. That was actually like that from day one. I just did not catch it during my walkthrough because I didn't actually lift up the mattress, but when I got home, that's when I discovered it. Alright, I digress. Let's move on to the next topic.